Welcome to the Did You Know series of the Voices of Life podcast, a ministry of the Church for Life. A place where faith speaks, where history breathes, and where hope finds its voice again. Each episode is crafted to inspire, to strengthen, and to guide you on your walk with God. And now, to lead us through today's journey, here is your host, Pastor David.
Hello, Voices of Life family. I'm Pastor David, and today we're exploring one of the most remarkable threads of history, a date that keeps reappearing across centuries, always asking the same question. What happens when conscience has a cost? From the storm-tossed voyage of a Puritan minister in 1635 to the moral storms of modern politics, August 17th has carried stories of courage, conviction, innovation, and consequence. Let's walk through 6 defining moments that reveal how faith, freedom, and conscience have shaped our world. On August 17, 1635, Puritan minister Richard Mather reached Boston after surviving the Great Colonial Hurricane aboard the ship James. He had left England because his conscience would not allow him to conform to the state church. Mather's arrival marked more than a migration. It was a declaration that faith sometimes demands departure. His descendants, including Increase Mather and Cotton Mather, became pillars of New England's spiritual life. What was the lesson? Conscience can call you to leave everything familiar behind. Fast forward 27 years, on Sunday, August 17, 1662, hundreds of Puritan and nonconformist ministers preached their farewell sermons before being expelled from the pulpits under England's Act of Uniformity. They were told, conform or lose your ministry. Thousands chose loss over compromise. This became known as the Great Ejection, a defining moment in history of religious liberty. The lesson there: freedom of conscience is not free because government says it is. It becomes real when believers are willing to bear its cost. On August 17, 1807, Robert Fulton and Robert Livingston launched the North River Steamboat, later called Clermont, from New York City. It wasn't the first steamboat, but it was the first to prove that steam power could work commercially. Fulton's success transformed transportation and commerce across America. The lesson there: innovation doesn't always mean inventing something new. Sometimes it means making an old idea practical and powerful. On August 17, 1863, Union forces began their massive bombardment of Fort Sumter, the Confederate stronghold in Charleston Harbor. Nearly 1,000 shells were fired that day. The fort, that had symbolized the start of the Civil War, now symbolized the Union's determination to reclaim the nation. Lesson: symbols matter. And when conscience and convictions collide, even stone walls can become battlegrounds for belief. August 17, 1915, one of the darkest chapters in American justice. Leo Frank, a Jewish factory superintendent convicted of murder amid anti-Semitic hysteria, was kidnapped from prison and lynched by a mob in Georgia. Decades later, the state issued a limited pardon, not declaring him innocent, but admitting its failure to protect him. The lesson: when public anger replaces due process, justice dies. Conscience must stand against the crowd, even when the crowd demands vengeance. On August 17, 1998, President Bill Clinton testified before a grand jury and then addressed the nation, admitting an inappropriate relationship with a White House intern. The moment blurred the line between private morality and public accountability. His impeachment months later forced America to ask, what is the difference between moral failure, legal guilt, and constitutional responsibility? Lesson: leadership demands integrity, and conscience must guide both private choices and public actions. Across nearly 4 centuries, August 17th keeps asking the same question: what convictions are worth the cost? Richard Mather left England for faith. The ejected ministers lost their pulpits for conscience. Fulton risked ridicule for innovation. Soldiers fought for unity. Leo Frank died because justice failed. And a president faced the consequence of personal choices. Each story reminds us that liberty, truth, and conscience are not abstract ideals. They are lived realities that demand courage. So today, as we remember August 17th, let us ask ourselves, what do we believe strongly enough to stand for, even when standing costs us something? This has been the Voices of Life. Did you know? I am Pastor David. Stay faithful, stay courageous, and keep living the truth that conscience is never free. It's proven by the price we're willing to pay.
Thank you for joining us today on the Voices of Life podcast, a ministry of the Church for Life. As we close, may the stories we share strengthen your faith, steady your heart, and remind you that God is present in every chapter of your journey. If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who needs hope. And until we meet again, walk in truth, stand in courage, and keep listening for the voice that leads you forward. This has been Voices of Life. Peace be with you.